What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on a layout kayak slash sneak kayak build. Now what we're going to be doing with this thing basically is just the essentials to make it into a good little sneak boat. Mainly it's going to be a retrieval boat for when I bring my actual duck blind out. We're going to bring this kayak out at the same time as we bring the actual duck blind out for, you know, retrieving ducks, because we're not going to want to be boating that thing around all the time. You know, once we get it out there, it's going to be set, and that's that. So that's where this boat is going to be coming into play. So this is the 10-footer. It's the Sun Dolphin. It has like a 250-pound rating. So basically what we're going to be doing is painting this thing, obviously knocking the red off because we can't use red. Then we're going to be putting some camo mesh over it, and then we're actually going to be brushing this thing in to make it look like a floating pile of grass or whatever, you know. So you can go pretty elaborate with these things. If you look on YouTube, there's a lot of good ideas on what to do. Mine's not going to be quite as elaborate. Like, you can buy actual pre-built blinds that just wrap right over the top of this, but more expensive. You got to wait for it to come in. All the materials that I'm using you can get at like Walmart. So and that one, you don't even have to have the camo mesh. You can just go out and get a bunch of brush and zip tie it on or whatever. So the first step to this is going to be painting it, like I said. So what we got here is just some leftovers from when I did the boat camo. You can get pretty elaborate with the camo if you want. I'm just gonna freehand some stuff on there. I'll actually show you the boat camo if you wanted to get an idea. So this is what the boat camo looks like. I actually just took and painted the whole thing green first, and then I went over it with some like chicken wire, you know, some fence or whatever, and just sprayed some brown squares. And then I went through with a just a branch with some leaves or whatever, painted the leaf pattern on there, and that was pretty much it, and it looks pretty good, really. So right here I just had some gray primer. I don't know how it's gonna look, but we're gonna send it. I think it'll look good to have a assortment of colors. So basically that's what I'm going to do right there. Make a bunch of different lines, then we're going to fill it in. And don't worry, there won't be as much gray on it as what you see now once it's done. You can do whatever pattern you want. I'm just doing this because we got to knock that red off. It's way too noticeable. Alright guys, so you can see the gray is now done. It actually looks pretty cool. If I wasn't going to paint it camo, I'd leave it like that. That looks pretty cool, in my opinion. But now we're going to go through and probably hit it with some black, I guess. I got black and I got some little bit of greens left. So we're going to hit it with some black. And again, we're going to do the same kind of thing here. We're going to just kind of follow the lines. Make it look grassy, I guess. I don't know. And by the way, do not use paints that have gloss in them. Don't. Because if you need to use just regular flat paint, like this camouflage one, it's somewhere's non-reflective finish. So that's what you want. Alright guys, so the black spray paint is now on there. So you can see where you eliminated a lot more of that red. We're going to have to do something about that. I'll probably just paint it a flat black and a little bit later. I ran out of black paint, so yeah, that's looking good so far. Now we gotta just fill in with some green, and then we'll be probably pretty good. Alright guys, so you can see that camo pattern right there. Now all I'm going to do is just hit it with the last little bit of paint I got, just to cover up a few more of the little tiny red spots, and should be good for the netting. But that looks pretty good, really. Looks pretty waterfowl-y. So now I'm going to give that just a few minutes to dry, and then we're going to go ahead with the camel mesh, but look at that. Looks pretty good, guys. Does it not? Just for a 5-minute paint job. Yes, there is still a few little spots of red you can see, but that ain't gonna be enough to throw off a goose, especially once we get the mesh on there and then brush it in. So you could honestly take that thing out just how it is and be fine. So we want it kind of loose, guys, just to hook stuff into, but that will work pretty good right there. I'm going to cut this corner off down here and put it in the back. So what I'm going to do is move this to the side as much as I can. Probably like that would be good. And I'm going to take and cut this excess off, just like this. Cutting it kind of high up here, because by the time you get it into the water and you're floating down the river or sneaking around little channels, you're not going to want this stuff getting caught on like brush or stuff like that. That's why I'm cutting it a little bit high. Just like that. We're going to take this piece, do the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is just zip tie the fabric together. Now guys, this would work a lot better if you had like an actual 10-foot by 3-foot piece of this stuff, but I'm just using my scraps for one, to get rid of them, and for two, because I don't feel like buying anymore. Even though it's not that expensive, it's like, I think I got a, what did I get? 60-foot by 5-foot wide piece for like 30 bucks. So basically all I'm going to do now is just pull these two a little bit tight. Not too tight, because you do want a little bit of play in it. Probably right about there will be good though. And then just zip tie them tight. And you can leave these on there if you want. I'm just going to cut mine off. Cut the little tag ends off. Alright guys, so now what we're actually going to do is just go ahead and this extra mesh right here, we're actually going to take and put this down into here like this. So that way there, it's going to be like on your back. So when you're out of the boat, if you're using a retrieval boat like I'm going to be doing most of the time, that this will be covered. So what we're going to do is cut this probably somewhere in the center right here, cut it up to about here, and then we're going to fold it right down in. And then this right here I'm actually going to leave, believe it or not. I'm going to leave this because you can tuck your legs up underneath there and it'll just become another piece of camouflage. Probably what I will do is actually pull it tight though, and that way there it's not going to be constantly on you. So I'll be able to also put some brush on there. So let's get to it.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight.
Alright guys, so that's what that looks like now. So once I get brush over the top of this, the only part of me that's going to be showing is just my like head and neck, because I can actually scoot down in this, and I'll show you guys that later, how far down in this canoe or this kayak I can get. I'll show you guys that. The only thing really left to do is to brush this thing in. So to brush it in, I'm just going to use like a combination of hay, reeds, maybe, I don't know, maybe not branches, but just a variety of stuff. So to start, I got some hay. Now typically I wouldn't recommend using hay, but it's good for coverage, and if you don't mind replacing it every now and then, it'll work just fine. So what I'm basically going to do is just go through and kind of just weave it in and out. I'm going to go get some other brush and grasses here too, but this is just kind of a filler. So basically just like that. That's all you got to do. Just weave it in and out. You probably can't even see that. But yeah, basically weave it in and out. And it's just a good filler. I'm gonna go get some cattails and stuff here, but so basically just like that. And here end up with a product looking just like that. So I'm just going to go through real quick and just do a little bit of that hay throughout there, and then we're going to go get some like reeds and stuff. Well guys, I'm back from the swamp. These are cattails. They grow literally on every water body you've probably ever seen. Maybe not rivers. I don't know if they grow on rivers or not. But. So what I'm going to do is just take these beautiful things, and all you do is just lay them on there just like that. And it creates that nice camo that you're looking for. Just lay them on there, how they look nice. And then all you gotta do is just zip tie them onto that mesh. Look how much better that looks already though. Get off there, fly. Look how much better that looks already just with those few little cattails. So now basically all I gotta do is just go through and zip tie that. That gives it just that hay. Looks like dead grass, which I guess which it is. But the hay looks like the dead grass, and then the cattails just look like they're laying over. So it looks really good. I'm gonna go through and zip tie those real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I get everything broken in to where it's supposed to be. Alright guys, and here she is. Looks pretty freaking good, doesn't it? I thought so. Let me show you what it looks like once I lay down in there. Obviously, keep in mind I don't have camo on right now because it's like, I don't know, 75 degrees out. So I'm not putting on camo. The camera set up about the same level as the top of the kayak. The kayak might be a little bit higher, but I'm going to get down in the boat and show you what it looks like. That's what you're working with. Calling to the geese or whatever, you know, you're calling, and then you can shoot. Plenty of room to sit up and shoot. Now you can hold your gun like this, or you can have it laying right here. Then when you're ready, just, you know, have your hands on it like this. Just like that. Just that simple. I think this kayak looks great. I think it's gonna be perfect for floating down the river and just doing little sneaks, you know. You can kind of sit low profile like this and be comfortable. You can just slowly paddle along through those little beaver canals and stuff, through ponds, lakes. This is definitely going to be a key piece of gear to hunt out of this year. And yeah. So guys, if you enjoyed this video on how to build a sneak / layout kayak for pretty cheap, as you can see, I'd say probably, if you already have the kayak, I'd say maybe you're gonna have to spend $45–50 bucks just on paint and maybe a little bit of that camo mesh, but you can just use regular brown burlap as well. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, make sure to like and comment on this video, Let me know when your duck and goose openers start and what state you're from, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all.